Hello and welcome everyone. Today I want to show you my current farming strategy, namely low-end Essence and Searing Exarch altar farming. The Atlas passive tree allocates all Essence and Searing Exarch nodes, as well as additional nodes for Scarabs and Necropolis loot, and I've left the link to this strategy in the description of this video. The strategy is pretty straightforward. It uses the Scarab of Ascent and 3 small Essence Scarabs, the Essence map mod, and Exarch Influence. My map of choice is Dunes because it's simple to navigate and easy to rush the boss. Keep in mind that you don't want to actually kill the boss because it gets a lot of essences from Crystal Resonance. The boss is nowhere near as crazy as it is in the high-end strategy where you use the Scarab of Calcification, but it is still advisable to bring the boss below 50% health to speed up the kill at the end of the map. If your build can already deal a decent amount of damage, let's say 20 million DPS or so, it's a good idea to kill a couple essences first, so you don't accidentally kill the boss, because that will decrease your profits every time it happens. For minion builds, it's also a good idea to allocate Indomitable Army and the physical damage reduction node preceding it to mitigate the impact of Corrupted Blood. Without that, you need a decent amount of damage and life recovery for minions to deal with the Essence monsters. The maps don't have to be rolled much. I tend to just chisel and alch to increase loot, and get the occasional high quantity maps I use for other strategies. Even though this is not a calcification strategy, it's still advisable to reroll maps with strong defensive mods, like more monster life and damage reduction for physical and elemental builds, because you want to kill the essence monsters and the boss as quickly as possible. The investment is pretty low. It's around 8 chaos for the map itself, 14 chaos for the scarabs, and another 3 chaos for the map mod for a total of 25 chaos per map. In the 20 maps I ran, I found 6 fortress maps, which actually make up a large chunk of our total profits. Obviously, this is still dwarfed by all the essences that we found, right? With the essences of envy and loathing, of course, being the most valuable ones. So they make up more of the total than the other essences. Incandescent imitation here. Now, in 20 maps, you technically don't really find one, so this is a bit of an inflation here, right? I didn't start out with exactly 0 progress. So you can probably, reduce this by 20% or so. Given the total amount of currency that I made here, I don't think this is really that relevant. For the most part, we then have other minor stuff like the Dunes maps that I found. As you can see, I only found 10, meaning I don't actually find enough maps to sustain, which shouldn't really be much of a surprise, right? We don't really find that many maps in strategies that don't spawn a huge amount of monsters, and then this strategy simply doesn't do that. This is fine though, because you can always buy them for, let's say, 6C, right? Maybe 7 if you buy them in bulk. Well, this might be a bit annoying. It doesn't really reduce your profits much. Also, the total map costs, the 25 chaos, right? This is with the map included. So this is actually profit that we made here, not losses. Yeah, with some other stuff, obviously polar rotations are pretty good right now too. And then, some minor stuff like Chaos Orbs, Greater Eldritch Embers. But, stuff like this. Obviously Scarabs to, found 2 Harvest Scarabs of doubling. Nothing too crazy in here, right? If there would have been a super valuable drop, I would have taken it out for obvious reasons. At least in the 20 maps that I ran, there wasn't really anything crazy here, right? We found 1 fortunate, which is also very average, right? So yeah, personally, I think this is pretty decent. Obviously, some coffins in here. Selling them is really annoying in my opinion. Whether we want to do that or not is up to you. Same is true about these all flames, right? Overall, they don't make up much of the total currency, right? If we're looking at coffins, for example, this really isn't that much. So it's not like you're going to lose a lot of money by not running them. All flames, that's a bit more extreme, right? As you can see here, Syndicate Escorts. Those were relevant, right? Now, in general, you could probably speed up the entire process by just having a better loot filter, and then you would only find, I don't know, probably like these flames and upwards, right? And you just ignore these. Either way, it doesn't really matter. For the most part, it is it is really the essences and the fortress maps that we found here, with maybe a bunch of smaller things contributing, like the invitation here, and of course the bubblegum currency. While the sample size isn't the greatest, I think this is pretty consistent, so you can expect around 15 diffs per hour, at least, if you're running this strategy consistently and are able to play the maps relatively fast, right? Took me around 2.5 to 3 minutes on average. If you can cut that down further, you can obviously make even more currency. And that's pretty much it for the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can leave them in the comments. I try to get to them as soon as I can. If you want to support my work or connect with me in my community, you can check out my socials including Twitch, Discord and Patreon on my channel page on the description of this video. I hope you liked it, and I will leave you with one of the maps I ran for the strategy. Until next time.